In the sweep of great empires, what happens to a few people is usually overlooked. When the city of Jerusalem fell into the hands of the mighty Babylonian army, it probably didn't make much of a stir in the ancient world. It was an event so insignificant to the Babylonians that they didn't even mention it in their official chronicles. The conquest of Jerusalem in 605 BC was just the first of 3 defeats the people of Judah would suffer under the king of Babylon.
This time, he simply established authority over Judah and then left. On the surface, not much had changed, but behind the scenes, a few Jewish families and some young Jewish men were changed forever.
Nebuchadnezzar took a handful of young men from their homeland to Babylon, and he thrust them into a new lifestyle. Every effort was made to break down their convictions. They had to make a difficult choice. Would they hold to their faith and to a life of obedience to God, or would they flow into the new culture? It was a time of crisis for these young men.
At this point, the experience of Daniel reaches out and grabs us. Regardless of how sheltered our childhood was or how often we were taken to church, there comes a time when we're thrust into an unbelieving world, schools, jobs, social situations, with a lifestyle radically different from what we are taught in the Bible. At each turn, we have difficult decisions to make. Will we obey God, regardless of the consequences? Or will we become part of the surrounding culture? As we take a trip through the book of Daniel, you'll see how he gives us practical and personal help in our struggle. He was a man who rose to a position of great influence and prestige in a world system, but who never compromised essential biblical principles. He showed us how to live a life of spiritual integrity in the crush of a secular world. Anyone who's ever been tempted and caves into the world pressures can learn a lot from him.
On a personal note, there came a point in each one of our kids' lives where they moved out of our house. With smiles on the outside and fear on the inside, we said our goodbyes. Each one had stepped into adulthood. Each one had left the nest of, sometimes, overprotective parents into a world with alternatives.
We begin this chapter, chapter 1, 4 boys taken from their homes to do service for the new sheriff in town. They were enrolled in an intensive 3-year training program designed to transform them into loyal Babylonian bureaucrats. A crisis of conscience erupted when the first meal was served. Join us as we follow these 4 kids into their future.
We hope to see you this Sunday, the Salvation Army, Torrance Corps, 1045. God bless you.